Have you ever wondered if the myths and legends we've all heard might be more than just stories? Could these ancient tales have actually shaped real history? Today we're diving into a fascinating idea how ancient myths might have influenced real historical events. We'll explore how these legendary stories may have guided decisions, inspired great monuments, and even changed the course of history. Let's unravel this mystery together. Number 1. Greek myths and historical conflicts. Let's start in ancient Greece, a land rich in mythology. The Greeks had countless stories about gods, heroes, and epic wars. One of the most famous is the story of the Trojan War. According to legend, the Greeks won this war by tricking the Trojans with a giant wooden horse. But what if this myth was inspired by real events? Some historians believe that the Trojan War could represent actual conflicts between Greek city-states and the city of Troy. Archaeological digs at the site of ancient Troy suggest it was a significant city that faced multiple attacks. The story of the Trojan horse might symbolize clever military tactics used during these conflicts. Imagine how these stories could have influenced Greek culture. The idea of using wit to overcome strength might have inspired Greek generals and soldiers. These myths were more than just entertainment, they were lessons, shaping how people thought about war, strategy, and even honor. The Trojan War myth wasn't just about the past, it shaped how Greeks saw themselves and their place in the world. It might have encouraged alliances, inspired art and literature, and even influenced how the Greeks engaged in future battles. This is just one example of how myths could have guided real historical events. Number 2. Egyptian mythology in monumental architecture. Next, let's travel to ancient Egypt, where mythology was at the heart of life. The Egyptians believed in a pantheon of gods who controlled everything from the Nile River to the afterlife. One of the most important myths was the story of Osiris, the god of the underworld, who was resurrected after being killed by his brother Seth. This myth wasn't just a story, it shaped how the Egyptians understood life, death, and what came after. The belief in Osiris and the afterlife led to the construction of the pyramids. These massive structures weren't just tombs, they were gateways to the afterlife. The Egyptians believed that by building these pyramids, they were ensuring their pharaohs would join the gods after death. The alignment of the pyramids with the stars wasn't random, it reflected their belief that the pharaohs would ascend to the heavens. But how did these myths shape history? The construction of the pyramids required enormous resources and labor, which in turn influenced Egypt's economy, politics, and society. The myth of Osiris drove the Egyptians to perfect their architectural skills, leading to innovations that still amaze us today. In this way, mythology directly influenced the development of one of the world's greatest civilizations. The influence of these myths went beyond just building pyramids. They shaped the way Egyptians lived, how they governed their society, and how they viewed their leaders, who were often seen as living gods. These beliefs helped unify the people and maintain social order, making Egypt one of the most enduring civilizations in history. Number 3. Norse myths in Viking exploration. Now, let's set sail to the cold, rugged lands of the Vikings, where Norse mythology was more than just a collection of stories, it was a way of life. The Vikings believed in gods like Odin, Thor, and Loki, and in the prophecy of Ragnarok, with the end of the world. These myths weren't just bedtime stories, they were a source of inspiration and guidance for the Viking people. The Vikings were known for their daring exploration and fierce raids, but what drove them to travel so far from their homelands? Some historians believe it was their mythology. The prophecy of Ragnarok, which foretold the end of the world, may have spurred the Vikings to seek glory and honor in battle, believing that their deeds would be remembered forever. These myths might have pushed the Vikings to explore new lands from Europe to North America. The belief in Valhalla, where warriors would go after death, could have motivated them to take risks and fight bravely, knowing that their actions in this life would determine their fate in the next. The Viking sagas, filled with tales of adventure and conquest, might have inspired real expeditions that changed the history of Europe. By shaping the Vikings' worldview, these myths directly influenced their actions and the history of the regions they explored. Their raids and settlements had a lasting impact, spreading their culture and influencing the development of the places they reached. In this way, Norse mythology played a key role in shaping history, not just in the north but across much of Europe. Number 4. Mythology's influence on governance and law. Now, let's explore how mythology influenced governance and law. In many ancient cultures, rulers were seen as chosen by the gods, or even as gods themselves. This belief, known as the divine right of kings, helped to justify their authority and maintain social order. Take, for example, ancient Rome. Roman emperors were often deified after their deaths, and sometimes even during their lifetimes. This association with the gods strengthened their rule and helped to unify the empire. The belief that the emperor was divinely appointed gave his laws and decrees a sense of sacred authority. This idea wasn't unique to Rome. In ancient Egypt, the pharaoh was seen as a living god, a direct descendant of the sun god Ra. This belief wasn't just a matter of religion, it was a central part of the political system. The pharaoh's divine status helped to maintain order and ensure that his commands were followed without question. These myths influenced the creation of laws and the structure of government in many ancient societies. By linking their rulers to the gods, these civilizations ensured that their laws were seen as more than just human rules, they were seen as divine commands. This belief in divine authority helped to stabilize these societies and allowed them to thrive for centuries. So, could ancient myths have really shaped history? It's clear that these stories were more than just entertainment. They played a crucial role in shaping how people lived, how they governed, and how they saw the world. From the wars of ancient Greece to the pyramids of Egypt, from Viking voyages to the laws of Rome, mythology has had a profound impact on history. Number 5. Hindu mythology in the shaping of Indian civilization. Now let's explore India, where Hindu mythology has profoundly influenced history. Hinduism, with its rich tapestry of gods, goddesses, and epic stories. Tapestry means a heavy cloth that has designs or pictures woven into it and is used especially as a wall hanging. Hinduism is not just a religion but a way of life that has shaped Indian society for thousands of years. Stories from the Ramayana and Mahabharata aren't just myths, they're moral guides that have impacted Indian culture, politics, and society. The Ramayana, for example, portrays Prince Rama's journey as an ideal of duty and righteousness, influencing leaders and thinkers throughout history. The concept of dharma or moral duty is central in Hindu mythology and has shaped Indian law and governance. Ancient texts like the Manusmriti laid down laws inspired by these myths, guiding social structure and justice. Hindu myths also inspired India's architectural marvels, like the temples of Khajuraho and Ellora, designed to reflect the cosmos. Even today, festivals like Diwali and Durga Puja celebrate these ancient stories, reminding us of the values that have shaped Indian civilization. Hindu mythology isn't just ancient history, it's a living influence that continues to shape India's cultural and historical identity. So, what do you think? Could these ancient myths have influenced history in ways we're only beginning to understand? If you enjoyed this journey through history and mythology, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more fascinating content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.